Champions Cup Sunday games. There are two games on the Sunday. Exeter against Sale. It's a rematch. Both these games are the rematches from the previous week, but it's that all Premiership affair. And then Clermont up against Bath, which for Bath anyway is a bit of a dead rubber, but there's still plenty to play for Clermont. So should be an interesting couple of games. We don't get any more Champions Cup until second week of January, so enjoy these ones while they last. The first one, like I said, it is Exeter against Sale. Sale need a win to stay alive in this competition. They're kind of in an awkward position where there are a fair few teams ahead of them, and they would need to essentially have a perfect run for their final three games. So it seems pretty unlikely, but we will see how they go. They've made a raft of changes, whereas Exeter, who have been perfect thus far, one of the few teams who have been that way. Although they did get a tough time of it last week. It was their first game where they really just didn't have all things their own way thus far in the Champions Cup. It was 22 points to 20, but they still got the win. So the record is three wins, no losses, no draws. Likewise, Sale. A win, no draws, and 2 losses, kind of at the other end of the scale. But like I said, still not dead and buried in Pool 2. Exeter unchanged, man. They just want to keep on doing what they're doing. Interestingly, Hogg is back at 15. He left the game, remember, after about 15 minutes last week with an HIA, which he failed. So interestingly, he's back. Noel and Witten are the other guys in the outside backs. Slade and Hill in the midfield. Simmons and White, the halves combo. Hepburn, Cowan, Dickey, the other Williams. Dennis, Hill, and Dennis is captain, by the way. Ewers, Vermeulen, and the other Simmons round out the pack. So it's a top class looking Exeter outfit, and they will be looking to keep on storming through and essentially secure themselves a quarterfinal spot. For Sale, there's no Dupria at 10 this week. That is going to McGinty. New front row, I think. Harrison, Langdon, and Cooper Woolley is there. Postlewaite and Phillips in the second row. The two Currys are still there. At 6 and 7. Ross is captain from number 8. No Faf de Klerk this week, so I look at that side and think probably the focus is back on the Premiership. Trip to Sandy Park when you got a must-win situation, they are flying high. Is a very tough one, but based on last week, there's no reason they are necessarily going to go and get in there and get a hiding. But if you look at Rugby Forecast, the algorithm, they've got Exeter by 15, and the bookies have got Exeter by 20. So they are saying it is going to be a bit of a hiding. It does look like a pretty tough ask on paper. 10 changes for Sale, none for Exeter. So that kind of speaks volumes, I guess, as to where things are at. But good luck to Sale, man. I really thought they impressed last week. But that being said, I am very keen to see, very pleased to see, I guess, Exeter doing really well. I think they said it'll be the second or third time that Exeter have made it through to the knockout stages if they go through. Last season they didn't do the business, but this season, so far, so good. The next game, like I said, there's not a lot going for Bath here, is there? They are bottom of their pool, 3 losses, whereas Clermont, 2 wins and a loss. 34-17 last week, so it is a tough ask for Bath in this one. There's a few changes to both sides. Peno is back for Clermont. He is at 13. Toyava is at 15 this week. Moala is the other guy in there at 12. Lopez is still there with Para at 10 and 9. There's a whole new front row with Beria, Uligia, and Zirakashvili. Naturia is still in the second row. Tamani, Fisher, Lapondry, and Fritz Lee round out the back row. So yeah, it's kind of minimal changes, but a few changes for Clermont. whereas Bath have made a few. McConaughey has shifted wings because there's no Rocketaguni this week. Brew comes in on the left wing. Burns is back to his 10 jersey. Cook's there at 9. Roberts and Wright are the midfield this week. Homer's still at fullback. Bayless comes in at number 8. There's no Francois Lowe. Ellis at 7. Williams at 6. Stuke, Douglas, Judge, Walker, and Boyce. That's going down from 5-4-3-2-1 basically. So yeah, 6 changes for Bath. Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask, isn't it? It is awkward. Someone mentioned it with the Champions Cup videos that basically by the time you get to this point, there are teams who are out and there's not a lot for them to play for, so they might change things up. They will shift their other priorities. I mean, there's still Underhill on the bench for Bath, but essentially, yeah, there's not a lot for them to really want to risk a whole lot. And this one's still playing for pride, but Clermont are still well alive in this comp, and there's there's still a knockout stages spot for them to grab, so they will be looking to go ahead and get a win in this one, preferably with a bonus point. I would say both these home teams are targeting bonus point wins here. Rugby forecast has got Clermont by 10, which seems slightly conservative. The bookies have got Clermont by 25. Again, let's hope Bath can put in a bit of a shift like Sale and not necessarily have it all one way for the home teams. But yeah, tough asks for the visitors this week. Both of the home teams doing relatively well. We'll see how things pan out. You guys let me know your thoughts. How do you think these games are going to pan out? Do you see it as being the home teams getting all their way, or can you see a potential upset here in this 4th round of the Champions Cup, last of the year until we move into next year? But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.